Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to SA Accounting Academy. Here's a short clip on one of our previous webinars. I hope that you really do enjoy it.
So this is always the awkward bit for any webinar. So let's kick off a bit of friendly discussion. Willem, what did you have for breakfast this morning?
I had 2 pieces of toast. I was in a bit of a hurry because I'm on my way to go and do a very nice hike, 5-day hike with my daughter. After this, of course.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, I feel both lacking in energy, not only because I won't be able to do a hike, but also because I've not had breakfast yet. I'm intermittent fasting, which means I can only eat between 12 and 6. So you've made me feel even more hungry than I was before. Probably the worst question I could have asked. Minnsy, how about yourself before we kick off?
Well, I'm also intermittent fasting, but I'm doing the 16-8. So my window started at 10, but I'm also on the low carb diet as well. So I was just saying to Willem earlier that going running on a low carb diet is very hard. Your body has no energy. So I'm good though. Awesome. Cool. Okay.
Yeah, I think we're good to go.
Yeah, I think we are. Yeah. So we've got people and obviously you can join as well. So, okay. Well, good morning and welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us today on our online learning day hosted by Practice Ignition. So this is the first of 6 sessions that are going to be run throughout the day. So I hope you've registered for this and some of the others. As always, these sessions are going to be recorded. So if you have registered, you will be able to get a copy of the recording afterwards if you can't actually attend. So this first session, we're going to be talking about how to communicate with clients, and obviously a very, of the moment case is how to communicate remotely. I think we've all had to move into a world that maybe was not very familiar for a lot of people. So we're going to be talking about that and understanding how my fellow participants on this webinar have managed to sort of navigate the river throughout the last year. So very quickly, my name is Richard. I'm an account manager at Practice Ignition. I'm based in Cape Town on a beautiful sunny day on the Atlantic seaboard, looking at Robben Island right now. So I'm very blessed to be here, and I'm very happy to be joined by my two colleagues. Willem, I'm going to call you a colleague as well. We do so much work together. So I'm joined by Carl Reeder, who is our head of accounting for EMEA at Practice Ignition, and Willem Haarhoff, who is a pioneer and a herald, apparently. You can expand on that if you would like. Do you want to do a quick intro, guys?
Yeah, sure. But I just need to make an observation first of all. Minnsy, I loved your profile photo, but Willem, are the barbers closed?
That
is some phenomenal growth that people like me can only dream of. Anyway, everyone, thank you so much for joining us. So as Minnsy said, I'm Carl Reeder, head of accounting for EMEA for Practice Ignition. So what that role means is that I don't do the numbers, and that will be a reassurance to all involved. But instead, I help Practice Ignition communicate what they do externally, but also, and perhaps more importantly, feedback from what's going on the ground into Practice Ignition, so that they can understand not only what goes on in my practice and the practices that I speak to, but also the wider accounting world. I wear a number of other hats as well. The one that I'll be referring to today primarily is my hat that I wear at D&T. So D&T is a mid-sized firm of accountants. We've got about 2,500-3,000 clients, and we specialize in looking after franchisors and franchisees. Obviously, over COVID, it's massively disrupted the communications that we can do, which we'll touch on later. So we've had to adapt and be quite nimble with how we maintain relationships, both at volume, but also one-to-one with franchisors. Alongside that, I also serve as chair of the practitioners panel at ACCA. So that means that, again, much like with PI, I serve ACCA by feeding back what's going on the ground in the accounting world, helping them to shape policy and direction for practitioners. I also serve on the policy panel, so I'm involved in lobbying government for things like small business support and anything that can help individuals or businesses to make their tax affairs easier and to make them more financially stable. I serve as a trustee of Young Enterprise and author of Boss It. So I think that's more than enough about me. Willem, over to you.
Thanks, Carl, and good afternoon, everyone. It's nice to be part of the session again with the team. I'm the co-founder of the Dough Getters Group, and it is our mission to help our clients and any entrepreneur out there just to get a better handle on their finances, to be in control of it so they can make better decisions, because we know that is ultimately what's going to help them grow their business, make more profit, and ultimately get more cash flow. I also do not a lot of the actual groundwork in terms of day-to-day bookkeeping and accounting, and hence my title, if I can call it that. I'm the one in the team that likes to come up with new ideas, new plans for the future, driving our strategy, and planting some seeds in our own franchise networks, owners' hearts and minds, so that they can follow the lead that we provide. But very excited for today. I think there's a lot of cool stuff we're going to talk about, how we communicate with our clients in these times, how we can be more flexible, and looking forward to this.
Cool, thanks guys. So yeah, the very rough agenda today is looking at adaptability, resilience, what you should be focusing on, I guess, as a business. I think a lot of people have learned a lot over the last 12 months and have probably already made some changes, but it'd be great to hear some of your stories as well. And then what does the future look like, I guess? As with anything, these are free-flowing conversations, so we will try and touch that agenda, but we'll see where it goes. So I guess, just opening up the discussion. The elephant in the room is COVID. It has really changed the landscape completely. So I think a lot of people were probably caught unawares. A lot of people weren't ready to go remote, work from home. Some were very much prepared, I think. I think anyone who was an early adopter of cloud technology was probably in a much stronger position to be able to just pick up and carry on from elsewhere. So I guess, guys, what's your experience been over the last year, and how have you managed to sort of navigate that?
Hey, well, it's been really, really interesting, enlightening, frightening, probably every other emotion that I could think of, actually. So I don't want to hark too much back to the early days of COVID, but I think it's really important just to set the scene, certainly from D&T's perspective. Whilst we used online communication, we weren't an online first business. So we used online tools in our practice. We used online communication with our clients. We were heavy adopters of social media, but look, at heart, certainly with our very high value clients, we were about personal relationships. We were about seeing the whites of the eyeballs. We were about having conversations over red wine rather than a virtual coffee. That's what we were all about. So whilst we had the tools and the ability to communicate with clients and indeed our team remotely, it wasn't embedded within our culture. So we had historically, we'd used email marketing, we had used social media, obviously we'd used phone calls. We didn't really tend to go for video calls in the past, because our belief was that if a meeting justified a video call, then provided the meeting could happen down to geography, we'd try and make it happen face to face. That was just the way that we did it. And we always saw that things like social media, for example, because I think social media is one of the key ways we actually communicate and build relationships. With social media, for example, we actually tried to make sure that we only used it as a top up for relationships rather than relying on it too much for opening and building. So we used it to just maintain the bank account, if we think of the emotional bank account, rather than build it up in any way. So yeah, it was really tough. And we heard the announcement in the UK in mid to late March that we were locking down and things had to change. We had to panic, go out, buy some laptops for a couple of our office-based team members and reorganize everything. But actually, despite what I've said so far, I strongly believe that our communication game had increased massively over the month. I think that we learned a lot on the job, and we changed and adapted so quickly and so flexibly that actually, I think our clients had a better output. So to give you a very broad outline of what we did, we diversified our online communications. We embraced video calls. We made sure that no team members did what we call buckethead, because if you speak to somebody and let's just say they have a hat over their face, That's no fun, is it? You know, speaking to a buckethead is no fun. Likewise, listening to somebody like this is no fun. So we made sure that people were comfortable to have their videos on, to be seen.
I hope that you enjoyed that video. For more of our webinar videos, go to www.accountingacademy.co.za. Thank you and have a lovely day.